Hello friends, Hail Tales here. So today we're jumping on into a roguelike game relatively similar to Risk of Rain called Vellum. Now this one is a lot more based around spellcasters, so there isn't going to be any guns or anything like that, but so far the abilities that I have been able to unlock are awesome. There's a lot to find in the game. You start with very few things unlocked. If we go over to the codex here, we can see that the scribe page, which is think like boons in Hades, it's going to increase our abilities in specific ones. There's 306 of those. I've only played a couple things, so 52 of them so far unlocked. Font powers and torn pages are also going to be buffs and things like that. So as you continue to play the game, we're going to get a lot more going on. I'm not going to show you guys too much in the real world here. I'm just going to jump straight into the action. We are running a sword as our generator. So if you guys see, there's 3 little crystals right by my character. The generator, or your left click, if you're playing on, it generates each hit will give you the mana, and then the points that you get from the generation you use with your right click, which for me is going to be a shield that shoots out and comes on back. So I'm kind of going with the sword shield vibe. I'm using what we call the blue signature ink, which involves a lot of AoE slowing when you hit targets. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that. We're going to try to be a little melee of a brawler guy, slow things around, throw a shield out here and there. Now I did just recently start the game, so it's not going to be too difficult. We should probably be able to breeze through this no problem, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at the gameplay. So far, I'm having an absolute blast with it. And now, just like in Hades, it'll give you a couple options each time. If you have a rewrite, you can choose to rewrite it. M dash is my shift ability or my movement ability. So gives your next foil 150 damage. Foil is my left click, so that's probably not a bad idea. And then my M dash resets when your barrier breaks. You have 2 charges of your dash, and they're on a 3-second cooldown. So far, I have not had issues of running out of dashes, so I don't think I'm going to need that right now, but I'm assuming when the game gets harder, I'll be dashing a lot more. And then callback causes your blot to spread. Now, blot is my passive from the blue ink. When you put blot on people, it damages them as well as makes a little puddle below them, which potentially slows and things like that, and you could level up that puddle and all that. So I think I'm going to do the M dash, gives you your foil damage, just because I kind of want to be dashing in and out a lot. Now, each round you play, I think it's 5 chapters, and then a boss. And we got 2 little wolfy guys from the tome that we're working on, which is basically, think of it as the quest that we're working on. So with these guys, so these are the enemies. They're called the Torn. Everything in the game is named around like writing techniques and literature type of things. So these guys are called splices. Those guys are called tangents. You're a scribe. You use the power of ink, I can see. And then while you hit with the left click with the melee one, you do gain your armor back with each hit. So we're going to try to be a little brawly, a little tanky here with our wolves, just chilling. Now, right behind me is something that's called the font, or the big thing that I spawn next to is called the font. You'll see a lot of skills and a lot of upgrades that work around the scribe standing near the font. So sometimes, depending on the map, you have a really good spawn of the font that you can kind of use to be able to take everything down. Sometimes the font's a little weird, so we'll kind of see what's going on here. Blue signature grants 100 barrier to all scribes. So your signature ability is your Q. That I think it's a 30-second cooldown, and then you can gain some things to lower the cooldown. For the blue ink, it cast blot on everything around you. So you do have to be relatively close. I believe it's not too big of an AoE as far as I can tell. Now, foes have a 50% chance to spread or blot on death. Could be nice. Gain a 25% chance to restore 50 health when your barrier breaks. That could also be nice. I am thinking I'm going to rewrite this one. See if we can't get an upgrade to our shield or our left click. Casting foil immediately after dash. Lunges with an empowered final strike. We might want to do that with preamble just because we already have bonuses to the dash. M dash applies weaken to nearby foes for 6 seconds. That could also be pretty good, but I think we're going to do this treason then, kind of start working on that left click a little bit. Now this is called font powers, so after each chapter you gain 4 points, and then you can put points into any of these. They change every round, and I believe they're based off of the quest or the book that you're bringing in. So on the left, the book that we have in is something about the wolves. So dawn and dusk will fight alongside the scribes, so these are going to obviously have some things that help with that. So Dawn and Dusk feed when foes are slain, which makes them gain damage when they are fed, so it can gain up to a max of 10 stacks of 15% damage. Dawn and Dusk deal 15 damage to nearby scribes, but feed each time, so I can constantly have myself being taken damage, but they are also gaining damage, which could be helpful for me because I do use the melee left click, which regenerates my armor, so that is a thought. Or the font supplies bones nearby. Scribes can pick up and feed these to Dawn and Dusk. Now, I am really bad at going back to the font. I do not pay attention to it. I'm just all over the place. I'm a Risk of Rain player, so I just like bouncing around and doing absolutely nothing but flying. So I don't tend to go back to the font, so I think we'll probably go with Scavengers. And then, depending on if we like chilling with the dogs, we might not put too many points in some of these. Depending on what they are, we might come back for Ravenous. But we'll start with Scavengers. And then you can see we have 1 point left. We can either spend it right now if we wanted to, or we can save it. I'll probably just save it for right now, and then we'll check those next time. Now, these ones right here, after font powers, I've seen that you can't re-roll these. So whatever it is, it's whatever you get. The final strike of foil lunges further and detonates, doing 50 damage. Foe struck after a brief delay. Gain 20 damage from full mana, or the dash doubles its movement strength. So I'm going to take the doubling the movement strength because I'm a big mobility person. Really enjoy running around quickly. The prolonged sword is a good idea at the same time. I kind of want to see how that goes, but we'll see if we can get that later. I think, especially being melee, I think having that movement speed is going to be very important for getting in and out of danger. Now, at the beginning of each chapter, except for chapter 1, you have to pick something that upgrades the enemies. So ravings, splices, these are specific types of enemies. So now ravings plant mines when not within 50 meters of any scribe. Splices are avenged by a hail of arrows when slain, and ravings gain size and speed every second. Now, I tend to try to just make the game really hard. So I think I'll probably go with the gain size and speed every second. I might go with the mines, but size and speed kind of makes it feel like I'm on a timer. You know, I gotta kill things quickly. Gotta make sure I'm killing the right things first. All right, so this font's pretty out of the way. So we'll see where the first guys spawn, right here, and we'll get into it. Now, one thing I am worried about with the speed on my dash is maybe it's going to be hard to actually utilize my dashing in with the damage because I'm going to fly past things a little too fast. So we're going to have to try to make sure we're good on the distance from when we're dashing in and out, things like that. Okay, so we have a bonus objective of finding and collecting all the ink motes, which I'm not going to be able to do because I wasn't paying attention at the start. Now, there are going to be... Oh, I missed. Darn, we might have been able to do it if I didn't miss there. So there's going to be little objectives that you're going to want to pay attention to that'll give you bonus points as well as bonus currency and things for unlocking more content throughout the game. You can also customize how your guy looks, so it's important to do those bonus objectives because I believe they give you more gold to spend in. Alright, so each foil gives your next callback 10 damage. So callback is my shield, so that every time I left click, my right click will start doing more damage, and we can max that out first before we use it, which I might take. My blue signature creates an arcane explosion. Possibly. I don't tend to use my signature a lot at the moment, but having that arcane explosion gives me another reason to use it, and then blot applies -5 speed. I'm not too worried about slowing things down at the moment. So I think we'll do the inflated id. Alright, so what is this? The font places explosive barrels throughout each chapter, possibly. At the start of each chapter, the font places a pickup on the map. When collected, you freeze, but you heal and gain impervious for 4 seconds, so if we're in trouble, we can dive into that. And at the start of each chapter, the font places a pickup on the map, which we run past, we regain all of our mana. So I don't really care for any of this, so I do think I'm going to go up into the Ravenous, and we'll check out those later like we did last time. Just get right back into the action. Gain 1 damage for every max 5 health. We're not going to use that because we're constantly going to be losing health. We're not going to take the increased speed just because I'm already relatively fast. Using foil also fires a seeking bolt. So let's just do that for a little bit of extra damage just because we might be having a little hard time actually landing the left clicks with the increased speed. Now that shouldn't be too big of an issue with larger enemies, but taking down splices might be kind of a pain. So healthy competition, while at full health, Torn periodically pulse area damage. Splices are temporal seeping. Splices slow the cooldown rate of nearby scribes by -50. And chain letter splices summon beams between themselves nearby Torn. Oh, I'm going to do that. That kind of sounds fun to have the beams connected through them, so I kind of have to watch out of where I'm diving through. Alright, so we'll keep our eyes out to see if there's an extra objective this time, so we might actually do it. So my signature ability, I'm going to go ahead and use it for you guys. So you can see that it just quickly sends out some blue stuff and it puts that debuff on the enemies. It's not very flashy until you have a couple extra modifications to it. Now my shield is, personally so far I love the shield. Of course you do have to aim it for it to come back, but there is an upgrade that makes it bounce. And as far as I can tell, as long as you hit one thing, it'll just start bouncing to everything else. So it drastically reduces the actual amount of aiming required. Now, so, ooh, yeah, if I can get that dash in and hit the damage, it's pretty big. And then, of course, that extra damage coming from the font as well whenever we hit something. Now, there are some new enemies, so I don't know if there's different enemies for different books or whatnot, but I haven't seen any spiders or anything yet, so that's kind of cool. When you kill elites, they'll drop, or it's either elites or mini-bosses, but they'll drop scrolls as well for you. So we actually got that Arcane Explosion scroll, so I'll be able to show you guys how that looks. We won't worry too much about leveling up my signature spell, at least not for the blue tree. We will try out all of the signature spells, and we'll try to get a lot of different runs with all the different left and right clicks, as well as our mobility options. So Azure pools are the blue little pools that appear after you apply blot, and then you can upgrade those to do things like slow and whatnot. So this is going to increase the size. Taking damage has a 30% chance to fire your foil at the attacker. Possibly, we kind of take damage, but kind of not, and gain 2 damage for every 5 barrier. So the best offense, I think we'll probably end up taking that, because we do tend to have a lot of barrier, or we'll take the pools if we want to. No, we're just going damage. Alright, so let's read these real fast. What about seconds? Effects that feed dawn and dusk count twice. That could be huge because we have double. Dawn damage applies marked. Ooh. So marked will increase the damage the target takes by 50%. Or sunbeam. While fully fed, dawn casts sunbeam, blasting nearby enemies. Interesting. So I think I'm going to take what about seconds first, and then we'll get sunbeam afterwards, and then dawn will basically always be fully fed. So we'll grab that. We'll put these 2 points in here just because I'm already prepping to go into that. I love the art style with the little inky transitions and all that. Alright, so let's see. Bolstering. Torn always bolster their nearby allies, which increases the health damage and size of nearby allies. Tangents attack 30% faster, and Torn explode when slain. So we won't do the explode just because we're relatively in melee range a lot of the time, so I think we'll just do the bolster because it sounds like it'll probably make things a little more exciting. And it upgrades all the enemies as opposed to just one type of enemy, so that sounds fun. Hello. Alright, so we're going to dive on into the middle, immediately pop our blue thing, and then try to come out. Whoop. And whoop. Ironclaw boy is slapping me around. So, bouncy bouncy. I'm pretty sure you have 1 mulligan each time. Now, I'm looking real fast for whatever this flag is, because my objective is to grab a flag, and I don't see a flag. Okay, that guy's gonna land there. Hello, friend. Get that guy down. We're looking for a flag, but we don't see a flag. So we're going to try to make sure that we're relatively lined up to hit as many things as we can with our shields, and then we're basically just doing that little dash through, trying to hit things. Now, the big boys I haven't seen yet, so we got to make sure we're watching out for the big boys, because those 2 were able to basically take me down to 0 health almost immediately. I do not see a flag. Now, a flag might be dropped by an enemy as well when we kill them. There's a couple objectives that are like that, so we're going to watch out for that. We're going to keep moving for a second. Try to get our points back up. Okay, so we took down that guy. We can probably play a little more aggressive now that we took down the big guy and just kind of walk in and kill the spiders real fast. Just because the big guys were the ones that had pretty heavy AoE that we weren't prepared for. Now, we do have to be careful then, since we did lose our first mulligan, and I'm pretty sure our only mulligan. So, Perfect. Alright. Hazard pulls up a 30% chance to freeze Torn. That could be relatively useful. Foil gives your callback, your next callback 50 damage and vice versa. That's probably going to be the only thing we take. And gain 20 damage while full mana. We're not at full mana pretty much ever. We're trying to spam our shield as much as possible. So we got 4 out of that, so we'll do Sunbeam, and then we'll probably do this as well. Well, we'll read down here real fast to see if any of these matter. Bogcraft scribes drop a permanent slowing pool for the first time they cast a movement spell each chapter. I'm not going to remember to put that in a good position, so we're not going to use that. Undamaged motes have an 8% chance to drop from slain foes. When collected, gain +1 stack of undamaged power, which you gain 25% damage but lose stacks when taking damage. I take a lot of damage, so we're not going to worry about that. And the font periodically assails Torn with ice comments. That one we'll probably end up using, and it's going to be the most expensive one. So we'll grab these, and then we're just going to save up our points for that other part. Gain 5 Varnish for 5 seconds whenever foil deals damage. This is actually pretty good. Varnish increases, reduces the amount of damage that we take. Foil gains +40 size might be useful, just so when we're dashing in and dashing out, things actually hit. And blue signature also grants +200 damage, +100 side, and speed to your next callback and any already in flight. This one's kind of cool, so you can cast 2 really fast, or even 3 if you have the mana, immediately blue signature, and those will increase all the sizes that are already out, and then you can also, the next one that you cast will also be increased. I think we're going to go with the gain size on the foil, just so we have a little more AoE as we quickly dash in and out, and it's also easier for us to hit, because we're kind of missing things when we dash in a little bit. Alright, Chapter 5, so this is the last one before the boss. Tangent sleep behind a ghost that haunts the scribe for 5 seconds. We might do that one because it sounds fun and I want to see what it does. Healthy competition while at full health. Torn periodically pulls area damage. That one doesn't matter because I'm not at full health a lot. And Sam says blam. Tangent damage will slam scribes into the ground and slows for 2 seconds. So that one sounds obnoxious. We're going to do this one just because I want to see what it means by haunt. So I don't know if it's going to be... It might be untargetable things that chase us and deal damage for 5 seconds, or it might just be things that block and are annoying. So we do have to, of course, make sure that we're watching our health. We are relatively low. And we don't particularly have any way to heal ourselves at the moment. Yeah, so there's the little ghosty ghosts. So we're going to kind of let the dogs do a lot of the damage as well, and then we'll dive in, dive out, dive in, dive out. Now, it'll be interesting to see how this one goes in actual boss fights. So we popped our signature move there, so everybody has that little puddle around them, which is going to slow and make things a little bit easier for me to dash in. We need to make sure we dash in before we took any actual health damage. Let's hope this scroll here is something cool. Gain damage when at full mana, which is fine. We're not particularly ever at full mana, but that's alright. We can pretend to attempt to remember to try to get to full mana. And then at the top screen, that purple bar shows you how close you are to finishing the round. So we're kind of just jumping around, letting the dogs do their thing. That's why we made sure to upgrade them, because they're badasses. And then that should be the last thing. Alright, so the ghosts weren't too annoying, so that's always good to know. Foil damage has a 25% chance to launch a bolt that does 25 damage in an enemy. Dash now launches a flask of ink at a nearby foe and 30% speed while your barrier is empty. So we're not going to worry about that. I think we're going to do the flask flask throws damage because I'm always dashing, and that one's more guaranteed. So the next thing is actually the boss. I think we're going to grab the cryo sleep pods just so we can heal if we need to, because we're not going to have enough to be able to get this. And we'll probably grab this too, just so we actually use all of our points and are efficient while diving into the boss room here. Okay, when a boss reaches 40% health, all scribes become silenced for 8 seconds, which is annoying because I'm pretty sure that means I can't use my movement, so we're not doing that. The boss gains 500 damage after 90 seconds. We'll probably do that because we'll probably kill it before then, and boss abilities gain plus 50% size. I think we're going to risk it for the biscuit with the enrage, try to just immediately bring this guy down, and also quickly try to figure out where that healing thing is. Nobody knows. Okay, so that one's my mana. We're not going to worry about that. Hello, Mr. Turtle. Mr. Turtle, I do need you to get out of the way from the healing thing. Woo! Can I get to the healing thing? Yes, I can. Oh, perfect. See, that's why we grabbed that, because we knew we were going to take at least some damage from the boss. We did not have a lot. So that came in clutch right there. We're going to save our signature for when there's a lot of things on the screen so that we can get as many of our little pools as possible. Now, this guy's spinning doing damage, I'm assuming, but we cannot risk just waiting because he is going to have that enraged 500 increase here soon. So we just need to keep diving in and out. Remember, we do a lot more damage with our left click after we dash each time. So we're just going to try to dash, go in, go out, dash, go in, go out. Perfect. Alrighty, so then we'll collect our rewards. So we'll get another book, so that's another quest for us to be able to do. This is going to be our quill marks, which is the currency that we're going to use to buy abilities. This is more pages, so this is extra spells that we've now unlocked, and I have no idea what this is. Bindings unlocked. Bindings increase the dangers and rewards of tomes. Perfect. So this is, I'm assuming this is like the heat in Hades 1 or fear in Hades 2. So more risk, more reward, all that. But that was our first run, so if you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to stop back down. We're going to keep playing this game. I'm going to try to get everything for the most part. I'm having a blast with it. The combat feels good, the movement's fun, and more importantly, the artwork is absolutely stellar. So once again, this game is called Vellum. Highly recommend checking it out. You guys can find it on Steam. And then, yeah, keep on coming back if you guys want to see more content. I've been Hail Tales, and I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to. If not, who cares, you know? Bye!